story begins inside a dark and dirty apartment. Trash bags are scattered everywhere, and the room is so messy the windows are covered in dirt, so almost no sunlight can enter the room. Old calendar pages are taped onto the wall because the boy living there uses them to keep track of the days. A young man named Itsuro Krosu lives alone in this apartment. After failing to get into a university, he slowly became depressed and completely shut himself away from the world. He stopped talking to everyone, even his own parents. Itsuro feels like his life has no meaning anymore. Every day feels exactly the same to him and nothing makes him happy anymore. One day, while lying on his bed, Itsuro quietly remembers the digits of pi in his head. But then, he suddenly decides to end his life. He wraps a belt around his neck and ties the other end to a shelf on the wall. As soon as he lets his body hang, he starts struggling to breathe. During the struggle, the shelf suddenly breaks off the wall and crashes down on top of him. Itsuro quickly catches his breath, and that's when he notices something strange. A small beam of light is entering his dark room. The broken shelf has accidentally created a tiny hole in the wall that connects to the apartment next door. Curious, Itsuro looks through the hole and sees his beautiful neighbor, Ryo Michi. She is sitting in her room and eating her meal. The moment Itsuro sees her, he becomes completely fascinated by her beauty. On Ryo's side, the hole is hidden behind a bookshelf, so she has no idea someone can see into her apartment. After that day, Itsuro slowly becomes obsessed with watching Ryo's daily life. He still can't believe that such a pretty girl lives right next door to him. The next morning he sees Ryo leaving her apartment with books and a bag in her hands. So he assumes that she's a college student. Meanwhile, Itsuro eats the last bit of food he has left, which is only a few cheap snacks. Since he has nothing else to do, he spends the entire day secretly watching Ryo through the hole in the wall. After observing her for a while, he notices something strange. Ryo only leaves her apartment to attend classes and she never hangs out with anyone. Because of this, Itsuro starts thinking that maybe she has no friends at all. One day, while spying on her again, Itsuro suddenly notices that Ryo is nowhere to be seen. Wanting to know where she went, he finally leaves his apartment for the first time in a long while. He quietly walks over to Ryo's door and tries to listen for any sound from inside. Then, while trying to peek through the mail slot, he suddenly realizes that someone downstairs is watching him act suspiciously. The girl is Haruko Kawasaki, who came to visit her brother living in the apartment below. A few moments later, Itsuro smells some delicious food. It turns out Haruko brought food for her brother, but after getting no response from him, she leaves the food hanging on the doorknob and walks away. The second she leaves, Itsuro quickly steals the food bag, excited to finally eat some real food after such a long time. Itsuro opens the food bag and quickly starts eating because he's starving, but after taking just a few bites, he suddenly notices someone staring at him. When he looks up, he sees Ryo Michi standing there and watching his strange behavior. After a short and awkward conversation, Ryo realizes that Itsuro is actually the guy living next door. Surprisingly, instead of getting angry, she politely invites him to have lunch at her apartment. Itsuro immediately agrees without even thinking twice. While Ryo cooks the food, Itsuro quietly looks around her room. During that time, he notices the tiny hole in the wall from Ryo's side for the very first time. But before he can react, Ryo walks back into the room and casually talks about the stretchy strings on his pants, making the moment less awkward. Soon, the two of them sit down together and enjoy a delicious homemade meal. After returning to his apartment, Itsuro feels strangely happy for the first time in a long while, especially after Ryo tells him that they should spend time together again sometime. From that day on, Itsuro starts visiting Ryo regularly to eat meals with her. Even though they are becoming closer, he still secretly watches her through the hole in the wall. One day, Itsuro finally gathers enough courage to ask Ryo something important. He asks her why she even wants to spend time with someone like him. Itsuro honestly admits that he dropped out of prep school and doesn't even have a job anymore. Ryo calmly tells him that even though they met only recently, she already feels a strong connection with him, and that feeling means a lot to her. Hearing those words deeply affects Itsuro. For someone who has felt lonely and worthless for so long, Ryo's kindness feels very special. After quickly finishing his food, Itsuro rushes back to his apartment and decides that he should stop spying on her. Wanting to respect her privacy, he gently covers the hole in the wall with a piece of paper and a thumbtack. That same night, a huge thunderstorm hits the city. Itsuro sits alone inside his dark room, but he can't stop thinking about Ryo. Deep down, he desperately wants an excuse to remove the paper and watch her again. Then suddenly, in the middle of the night, he hears Ryo's apartment door open. Unable to control his curiosity, Itsuro quickly removes the paper covering the hole. What he sees next completely shocks him. Ryo walks into her room wearing a transparent raincoat, and in her hand is a sharp cutter. A few seconds later, a man in a suit enters behind her. the man casually hugs Rio from behind, but without warning, Rio suddenly attacks him with incredibly fast martial arts moves. Before the man can even react, Rio slices his throat open and brutally kills him. Blood splashes all over her raincoat, but instead of panicking, Rio simply smiles in a cold and terrifying way. Watching all of this through the hole, Etsuro becomes absolutely horrified. In his panic, he accidentally bumps against the wall. At the same moment, a book falls over on Rio's bookshelf and blocks the hole, cutting off his view. A little later, a mysterious van arrives outside the building. Several men quietly carry large boxes into Rio's apartment, making the entire situation feel even more suspicious. Back in his room, Etsuro sits there completely confused and terrified, trying to understand what he just witnessed. But before he can even process everything, someone suddenly knocks on his door. When he opens it, he's shocked once again. Standing there is Rio, looking completely normal and adorable, as if nothing happened. She's smiling sweetly while holding a pot of food in her hands, acting innocent. She asks Etsuro if they can sometimes eat together in his apartment, too. After cleaning up some space and lighting a few candles, they both sit down to eat. Rio calmly enjoys her meal, like everything is perfectly fine. Meanwhile, Etsuro can barely even think straight because he still cannot believe that the cute girl sitting in front of him just murdered someone a few minutes ago. While eating together, Rio Michi brings up Etsuro's earlier question and tells him not to worry too much. She says that when someone stays alone for a very long time, they slowly start losing their sense of reality. But somehow, whenever she spends time with him, she feels normal again. After Rio leaves, Etsuro Krosu becomes curious once more. He grabs a chopstick and carefully knocks over the book that was covering the hole in the wall. When he looks inside Rio's apartment, he simply sees her sitting calmly and drinking tea, seeing everything look peaceful and normal. Etsuro starts thinking that maybe he imagined the murder from last night. He convinces himself that it was probably just a hallucination caused by stress and loneliness. But a few moments later, he suddenly hears someone saying goodbye to Rio. Curious, Etsuro quickly opens his door to check who it is. At that moment, a mysterious woman named Reina Mague walks past his apartment. As she looks back and notices Etsuro standing awkwardly at his door, he immediately shuts it in panic. Reina quietly says his name and pauses for a second before finally walking away, making the moment feel very strange. The next morning, Rio runs into Etsuro while heading to university. She kindly offers him the chance to use her washing machine because his clothes are dirty. Before leaving, she also asks if they can eat together at his apartment again later that night. While washing his clothes, Etsuro keeps remembering the horrifying murder scene, but his feelings for Rio are so strong that he keeps trying to ignore the truth about her. Excited to spend time with her again, Etsuro rushes back home, cleans up his messy apartment, and carefully prepares the table for dinner. Later that night, while waiting for Rio to arrive, Etsuro suddenly hears the door opening inside her apartment. Curious again, he looks through the hole in the wall, and once again, he witnesses another horrifying scene. Rio enters her room wearing the same transparent raincoat as before. This time, another man is with her, and he has a bee tattoo on his arm. Without hesitation, Rio attacks him using her fast martial arts skills and slices his throat open with the cutter. Blood splashes everywhere while Rio smiles coldly, almost like she enjoys killing. At that moment, Etsuro finally realizes the truth. It was never a hallucination. Rio is truly a serial killer who brings men into her apartment and murders them. Completely terrified, Etsuro accidentally screams out loud. The sound instantly catches Rio's attention. She slowly walks toward the wall and suddenly pushes her box cutter through the tiny hole. Then she leans closer and stares directly at Etsuro through it. Panic takes over Etsuro, and he immediately runs out of the apartment building. A few seconds later, Rio chases after him through the dark streets while still holding the cutter in her hand, trying desperately to escape. Etsuro runs up the emergency stairs and reaches the rooftop of a nearby building. But Rio quickly catches up to him and traps him there with nowhere left to run. Rio calmly asks him if he really saw her kill the man. Etsuro finally tells her the truth. He admits that he has been secretly watching her for a long time, and that he already knew she was a killer. Instead of getting angry, Rio actually finds this interesting. She is surprised that even after learning the truth, Etsuro still kept visiting her and eating meals with her. After saying that, Rio slowly walks toward him with the cutter, ready to kill him, but before she attacks, Etsuro suddenly opens up about his past. He tells her that he once tried to take his own life by hanging himself. During that moment, the shelf broke and created the hole in the wall where he first saw her. The second he saw Rio, he instantly fell in love with her. For the first time in a long while, he felt like life was worth living again. Being near her felt far better than dying. But now that he knows Ryo is truly a killer, all the hope inside him disappears once again. Etsuro slowly drops to his knees and closes his eyes, fully accepting death. Ryo walks closer, grabs him, and presses the cutter against his neck. But then she notices something unusual. Etsuro is completely calm. He isn't begging for his life or trying to escape, fascinated by his reaction. Ryo suddenly decides not to kill him. Then she asks him how he feels right now. Etsuro slowly opens his eyes and calmly says that he wants to date her. Surprisingly, Ryo Michi actually agrees to date Etsuro. Then, while standing close to him, she gently licks the blood from a small bruise on his lip that he got while running away from her earlier. Etsuro slowly leans in, thinking she's about to kiss him. But before he can do anything, Ryo suddenly stops him and tells him something unexpected. She wants him to continue spying on her through the hole in the wall. The next day, Haruko Kawasaki finally manages to meet her brother, Kawasaki, who is happily playing with a cat in his apartment. Haruko tells him that their parents are worried about him and asks him to stay in touch more often. After giving him the food she brought, Haruko notices Etsuro standing nearby on the terrace and politely greets him before leaving. Later, Etsuro uses Ryo's washing machine to clean his clothes again. After that, the two of them sit together and eat lunch at his apartment. During their conversation, Ryo is surprised by just how clearly Etsuro was able to see her through the tiny hole in the wall, feeling guilty. Etsuro apologizes for spying on her and says that he will fix the hole soon, but surprisingly, Ryo tells him not to cover it up. Etsuro still can't believe that someone as beautiful as Ryo is actually dating him. While talking to her, he honestly tells her that he likes everything about her. Hearing this makes Ryo feel a little shy and embarrassed. Etsuro then promises that he will get a job, so he can become a better boyfriend for her. Soon after, Etsuro starts working at a convenience store, but every single time he uses a box cutter at work, he remembers Ryo brutally killing those men, and the memories make him uncomfortable. Even so, he continues dating her because his feelings for her are stronger than his fear. Later that night, Etsuro returns home and notices Ryo waiting for him. Near the hole in the wall, Etsuro tells her that now that they are dating, it would make more sense for them to simply stay together in the same room. But Ryo disagrees. She says that since they are now a couple, they shouldn't stay together in the same room at night anymore, making Etsuro even more confused about her strange behavior. The next day, Ryo asks Etsuro to come with her to university. Etsuro happily agrees, thinking it's going to be like a normal date. But when they arrive, he realizes Ryo only wanted help carrying a microwave because the one in her laboratory stopped working. After staying isolated inside his apartment for so long, Etsuro feels very nervous and uncomfortable being around so many students. Just stepping into the university brings back all his old insecurities about failing his entrance exams. However, those feelings slowly disappear when Ryo proudly introduces Etsuro as her boyfriend in front of her classmates and friends. For the first time in a long while, Etsuro feels accepted. During lunch, he lovingly stares at Ryo and starts thinking that he is probably the first boyfriend she has ever had. After that, Etsuro tells Ryo about his future plans. He says he wants to study hard and retake the university entrance exam next year. He wants to become a better person for her because he cannot imagine living his life without her anymore. But instead of getting emotional, Ryo simply laughs at him. She finds it funny that Etsuro thinks he needs to become good enough for someone like her. Then, Ryo reminds him of the truth. She tells him that she is a murderer and has absolutely no plans to stop killing people. After saying that, Ryo calmly admits that she has been doing this for a very long time. Later, after university classes end, Ryo Michi casually asks Etsuro if he's hungry. The two of them start walking through the city together like a completely normal couple heading out for dinner. But suddenly, Ryo stops walking and quietly puts on her transparent raincoat before Etsuro can even ask what she's doing. Ryo suddenly grabs a random woman walking nearby and brutally kills her right there in the middle of the street. Blood splashes all over the wall while people nearby panic and run away. Completely shocked, Etsuro Kurosu quickly turns his face away because he can't handle watching it. Ryo calmly looks at him and asks if he's okay, almost like nothing unusual just happened. After that day, Ryo starts openly killing people in front of Etsuro during their dates. Sometimes, while casually walking together, she suddenly grabs someone and slices their throat without warning. At first, Etsuro starts wondering if Ryo simply kills random people for fun, but Ryo explains that she actually follows her own twisted rules. She even keeps a list of criminals and dangerous people living in the city. After hearing that most of her victims are criminals, Etsuro tries to comfort himself by thinking of Ryo as some kind of strange vigilante or ally of justice. The two of them even laugh together about it while Ryo continues murdering people. But deep down, Etsuro knows something still feels very wrong about all of this. At work one day, Etsuro notices something strange. None of the people Ryo killed are ever mentioned in the news or reported missing anywhere. It's almost like the victims completely disappear from existence. That same afternoon, While walking home from work, Etsuro runs into his neighbor Kawasaki. The two casually talk about how cute cats are, creating one of the few peaceful moments in Etsuro's strange life. Later, Etsuro goes to meet Ryo at the park, but even while sitting beside her, he can't stop thinking about all the people she has killed. At this point, the only thing keeping him in the relationship is how cute and caring Ryo acts around him. At the park, the two of them share chocolate and coffee ice cream that Etsuro bought specially for them. Ryo looks genuinely happy and touched that he bought something just for the two of them to enjoy together. Slowly, Etsuro's life actually starts improving. He now has a steady job, earns money regularly, and even decides to buy himself a new phone. One day, while working at the cash register, Haruko Kawasaki visits the store to buy snacks. Feeling guilty for stealing her food bag earlier, Etsuro secretly gives her the snacks for free. Later that night, Etsuro finally returns home and notices that the electricity in his apartment has been restored. Excited, he calls out to Ryo, but she doesn't respond. Curious, he looks through the hole in the wall and finds a note from Ryo asking him to stay inside his room at exactly 10 p.m. After taking a shower, Etsuro prepares to sleep, but before going to bed, he looks through the hole once again, and what he sees completely shocks him. Kawasaki is lying on Ryo's bed completely tied up. Ryo has kidnapped their own neighbor. Terrified and confused, Etsuro begs Ryo not to kill him. He tells her that Kawasaki is innocent and reminds her that murder is still a crime, no matter what excuse she gives, but Ryo coldly tells him to stay quiet so they won't get caught. Ignoring Etsuro's desperate pleas, Ryo brutally kills Kawasaki right in front of him. Watching this completely breaks Etsuro's heart because Kawasaki was one of the few normal and kind people around him. A short while later, Reina Magi and her team arrive in a black van. They quickly clean the entire crime scene and remove all the evidence, finally explaining why none of Ryo's murders are ever discovered by the police. Filled with anger and confusion, Etsuro immediately storms into Ryo's apartment. Reina Magi looks at Etsuro and insults him, asking if he's actually brave or simply stupid for getting involved in all of this. After that, she calmly explains how Ryo Michi is an extremely skilled killer who murders people quickly and cleanly. According to Reina, her team's only job is to remove the bodies and clean the crime scenes afterward. As her men prepare to dispose of Kawasaki's body, Reina casually tells them to cut it apart because the corpse is already in terrible condition. Then she asks Etsuro Kurosu something important. She wonders if he ever found it strange that Ryo has killed so many people and still hasn't been caught by the police. Reina then reveals the disturbing truth. There are people secretly paying for fresh dead bodies, which is why Ryo's murders are always covered up so carefully. When Etsuro asks where Ryo is right now, Reina casually says that Ryo is probably out eating because she usually gets hungry after killing someone. Just before leaving, Etsuro stops Reina and demands to know why Ryo killed an innocent person like Kawasaki. Instead of answering directly, Reina takes him into Kawasaki's apartment and shows him something horrifying. All this time, Kawasaki had secretly been torturing stray cats inside his room while pretending to care about them in public. After seeing this, Reina becomes confused by Etsuro's reaction. She tells him that he is probably going to die eventually, too, because Ryo never gets close to people unless she plans to kill them someday. The next morning, Ryo knocks on Etsuro's door, but he refuses to answer her, wanting to see him no matter what. Ryo suddenly climbs from her balcony over to his balcony and enters his apartment through the window. Etsuro tells her that he isn't feeling well and stays lying in bed. Ryo quietly lies down beside him and tries to keep him warm. While they are together, Etsuro finally tells her honestly that killing people is wrong. Ryo immediately asks if he is only upset because this time she killed someone he personally knew. Etsuro explains that he doesn't feel sorry for Kawasaki after learning the truth about him. But even then, he still believes there should be limits and rules. Ryo then asks him a deep question. She wonders who actually gets to decide which people deserve to live and which deserve to die. Ryo points out that every country has different laws, and those laws constantly change over time. Because of that, she believes true justice doesn't really exist. Taking the chance, Etsuro finally tells Ryo that he simply doesn't want to watch her kill people anymore. Hearing this clearly upsets Ryo, and she quickly leaves his apartment. Even after all of this, Etsuro admits to himself that he still loves her no matter what she has done. The next morning, Etsuro runs into Haruko Kawasaki. She asks him if he has heard anything from her missing brother lately. Etsuro nervously tries to avoid the conversation, but Haruko only wants to know whether Kawasaki has been going to university because he hasn't contacted the family in a long time. At that moment, Ryo suddenly appears nearby. Looking clearly jealous, Ryo asks Etsuro who he is talking to. Haruko politely introduces herself and explains that her older brother lives in the same building. The second Ryo hears this, She casually invites Haruko into her apartment to wait for him there. This immediately terrifies Itsuro, afraid that Ryo might kill Haruko, too. He quickly sends her away and promises to contact her if he hears anything about Kawasaki. Later that night, while eating dinner together, Itsuro can't stop worrying about Haruko returning and discovering the truth about her brother. But what scares him even more is how calm Ryo seems about the whole situation. Finally, Itsuro directly asks Ryo if she plans to kill Haruko as well. Ryo reminds him about her personal rules. She says that randomly killing innocent people would ruin the kind of person she believes herself to be. Then Ryo promises Itsuro that she will not harm Haruko. A few days later, Haruko sends Itsuro a message asking if they can meet and talk about her missing brother. While Itsuro is still thinking about whether he should agree or not, someone suddenly grabs him from behind and drags him into a black van. Inside the van is Reina. She warns Itsuro that he needs to become someone worthy of Ryo, otherwise, she will personally kill him herself. Itsuro then mentions that Kawasaki's sister is still searching for him. Reina tells him not to worry about it, before letting him go. She cruelly says that Itsuro is pretty useless while alive, but his body could still be useful after death. Later that day, Itsuro finally meets Haruko for tea. Haruko desperately wants to know what happened to her brother. When Itsuro asks whether she filed a missing person report, Haruko explains that she actually canceled the report because she started believing Kawasaki may have simply gone on a trip somewhere. Haruko Kawasaki asks Itsuro to come with her to meet the landlord because she feels too nervous to go alone, even though he feels uncomfortable. Itsuro Krosu agrees, so she won't become suspicious. Together, they ask the landlord to open Kawasaki's apartment. To Itsuro's surprise, Reina Magi and her team have already cleaned everything perfectly. All the tools Kawasaki used to torture cats are gone, and the apartment looks completely normal. Reina's team even left behind a fake airplane ticket to make it look like Kawasaki simply went on a trip somewhere. Afterward, Haruko takes a walk with Itsuro. She still looks worried about her brother, but Itsuro tries his best to calm her down and tells her that Kawasaki is probably fine. Haruko apologizes for bothering him so much. Before leaving, Itsuro asks her to let him know if she learns anything new. But Haruko jokingly says she probably won't because she doesn't want to make Ryo angry since she's his girlfriend. Itsuro awkwardly admits that even though he's dating Ryo Michi, he still doesn't fully understand her and that she can sometimes be a little twisted. Later that night, Itsuro notices a man with the same bee tattoo as one of Ryo's previous victims. The man casually puts his arm around Ryo and to Itsuro's surprise, she doesn't push him away. During dinner, Itsuro finally asks Ryo who that guy was. Instead of giving him a proper answer, Ryo simply says that she's a university student and can spend time with whoever she wants. Feeling jealous and insecure, Itsuro nervously asks if she plans to break up with him. But suddenly Ryo turns the conversation around and accuses him of spending time with Haruko. Itsuro quickly denies it and explains that he only talked to Haruko because he wanted to protect her. Ryo reminds him that Reina already covered up Kawasaki's disappearance perfectly. Yet Itsuro still keeps getting close to Haruko. At this point, Itsuro starts suspecting that Ryo might be planning something dangerous, so he confronts her directly. This immediately makes Ryo angry. She leaves the room and coldly tells Itsuro to stop seeing Haruko completely. Afterward, Itsuro hugs Ryo trying to calm her down, but when he leans in to kiss her, Ryo suddenly threatens to kill him. Later that same night, Ryo secretly meets with a dangerous group called the B Gang. She tells them that she refuses to become their personal assassin. The gang leader becomes furious and reminds Ryo that they already know she killed one of their members before. He tells her that she now belongs to their cleanup operation, and if she refuses to work for them or goes to the police, they will kill Itsuro. The next day, Ryo waits outside Itsuro's workplace so they can walk home together. But when they arrive home, they find Haruko waiting outside the apartment building, trying to act normal. They invite her inside for tea. While drinking tea together, Haruko shows them a postcard that supposedly came from Kawasaki. Of course, the postcard was actually faked by Reina's team to hide the truth. Haruko starts worrying about what she should tell her parents because Kawasaki still isn't answering any phone calls. Then suddenly, Haruko collapses unconscious. It turns out Ryo secretly drugged her tea because she plans to kill her. Itsuro immediately panics and desperately tries to stop Ryo. He reminds her that she normally doesn't kill innocent people just to silence them, but Ryo coldly replies that she makes her own rules. Itsuro warns her that if she keeps murdering people like this, eventually the police will discover everything. Ryo becomes angry and threatens to kill Itsuro, too, by slicing his artery and making him slowly bleed to death. But Itsuro refuses to back down. After arguing for a while, Ryo finally gives up and decides not to kill Haruko. When Haruko wakes up, she suddenly confesses that she genuinely has feelings for Itsuro. Before the situation can become even more awkward, Reina and her team arrive expecting to find Haruko dead already. As Haruko leaves, Reina quietly warns Itsuro not to confuse Ryo emotionally. She explains that this is the first time Ryo has ever spared someone she originally planned to kill. Reina believes Ryo will never truly connect with Itsuro the way he hopes. Before leaving, Reina also threatens Itsuro and tells him to stay away from Ryo. Later, Ryo meets Reina privately and apologizes for failing to kill Haruko. The two of them share ice cream together while Reina reminds Ryo that she is the one who decides who deserves to live or die. Reina also warns her that hesitation is dangerous because if the bodies aren't cleanly prepared, she won't be able to use them properly. Meanwhile, Itsuro meets Haruko at a cafe. Haruko honestly tells him that her feelings for him are real, but Itsuro gently rejects her and explains that he was only trying to help her find her brother. Haruko looks confused because Itsuro himself once admitted that Ryo wasn't good for him. She believes Ryo is controlling him and that things will never change. Before leaving, Haruko tells Itsuro that she'll return to the cafe tomorrow in case he changes his mind and wants to give her a chance. Later, while Itsuro is walking home, a black van suddenly pulls up beside him. At first, he thinks it's Reina again, but this time, it's actually the B gang. They kidnap Itsuro and drag him to their bar where they force him to convince Ryo to work as their killer. Itsuro refuses to help them, angry. The gang members threaten to expose everything to the police before slicing his cheek with a knife and throwing him out. When Itsuro finally returns home, Ryo immediately notices the cut on his face. Furious, she prepares to go after the gang members and kill them, but Itsuro stops her. He tells Ryo that he would rather get hurt himself than watch her continue killing people. Ryo sadly reminds him that killing is part of who she really is. Without it, she feels empty and incomplete, but Itsuro points out something important. Ryo chose not to kill Haruko, which proves she actually can change if she truly wants to. Itsuro then confesses once again how deeply he loves her, but Ryo feels that Itsuro still doesn't truly accept the real her, believing they have no future together. Ryo leaves in tears and asks Itsuro to finally cover the hole in the wall. Later that night, while Itsuro is working at the convenience store, Reina suddenly visits to buy ice cream. While casually talking to him, she quietly reveals something terrifying. Ryo has requested a major cleanup. Very soon, Itsuro Krosu still cannot fully accept all the horrible things Ryo Michi has done, but Reina Magi tells him that the connection between him and Ryo is something rare, and no one will ever be able to break it. That same night, Itsuro suddenly hears strange noises coming from Ryo's apartment. Worried, he quickly looks through the hole in the wall and sees Ryo killing another person once again, but this time something feels different. Normally, Ryo smiles after murdering someone, but now, instead of smiling, she is crying while killing the victim. The moment Itsuro sees her tears, he realizes that the B gang must be forcing her to continue killing people against her will. At that moment, Itsuro finally understands something important. Maybe Ryo will never truly change. Maybe she doesn't even need him. But no matter what happens, he knows he cannot live without her anymore. After that realization, Itsuro calls Haruko Kawasaki and tells her he can no longer meet with her. Then, without wasting any time, he heads straight to the B gang's bar. When he arrives, Itsuro desperately begs the gang members to stop forcing Ryo to kill people. But the gang only laughs at him, out of desperation. Itsuro pulls out a box cutter and tries to fight them himself. Of course, he stands no chance against an entire gang. The gang members quickly overpower him, throw him onto the floor, and begin brutally beating him up. Then the gang leader grabs Itsuro and prepares to slit his throat. The exact same way Ryo kills her victims, but suddenly the lights inside the bar go out. A few seconds later, sleeping gas fills the entire room. One by one, the gang members begin collapsing unconscious, and then Ryo appears. She walks through the darkness wearing her transparent raincoat once again. At first, Ryo is surprised to see Itsuro there, but the second she notices his injuries, she becomes furious. Ryo grabs Itsuro's cutter and combines it with her own weapon. Then she attacks every single gang member inside the bar with terrifying speed. Within moments, she completely wipes out the entire gang. Finally, Ryo kills the gang leader and then gently helps the injured Itsuro onto a couch. While sitting beside him, Ryo quietly admits that she didn't enjoy killing this time, but she also tells him that this doesn't mean she plans to stop killing forever. Even after hearing that, Itsuro still confesses his love for her once again. Ryo admits that she loves him, too. Then the two finally kiss each other, but suddenly Ryo stabs Itsuro, smiling sadly. Ryo admits that she always wanted to know what it would feel like to kill someone she truly loved. However, after doing it, she realizes that the feeling isn't what she expected at all. Surprisingly, Etsuro actually feels happy hearing that. As he slowly collapses from the injury, the two continue expressing their love for each other. Several days later, Reina sees Rio standing outside with a suitcase while Etsuro slowly follows behind her using crutches. The two decide to leave their old apartment behind and move in together somewhere else. Reina jokingly tells Etsuro not to stop spying on Rio just because they're finally going to live together now. As Rio and Etsuro walk away side by side, Rio quietly tells him that she won't kill anyone else anymore, but someday she will probably kill him. Instead of being scared, Etsuro simply smiles and says that it's okay because his artery belongs only to her. Then suddenly, both of them realize something funny. Even after everything they've been through together, they never actually learned each other's first names properly. The two start laughing and finally introduce themselves to each other like normal people for the very first time. And with that strange but emotional moment, the movie comes to an end. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.